Okay. Well, I am totally honored to have the privilege to do this. Thank you so much, Christine, for inviting me to be part of your amazing team live for a few minutes today. Um, in this business, not only do we get to dream our own dreams and make them happen, but as we're sharing them with others, we're inspiring others. And I knew Christine back when she was single, and her dream was to build life inside of this business with a Tom before she knew Tom. And I have watched them do that, and they are just phenomenal together. I absolutely love them. And today I'm single. So watching them do that, now that is my dream, and their story inspires me too. So, well, I want to share a little bit of my story, and I want to share a little bit more personally. I was guessing this would be mostly women, and I thought I would just share a little bit more personally. And I wanted to share one specific thing that made such a significant difference for me in building the business that I have today. And I really feel like that piece might be even more relevant today in the culture that we have now than it was maybe even then. So hopefully that'll be helpful. All right, so 15 years ago, when I think back now, I realize I was hiding. I wasn't okay with me. I was wearing jean jumpers, baggy, just hiding. Long straight hair, no makeup. I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be known. And I wasn't looking for a business. I wasn't looking for a supplement or product. In fact, I thought that I kind of knew everything there kind of was to know about nutrition. I'd been through a health crisis about 7 years before with my two little boys when they were sick all the time. Had completely turned that around with nutrition, become a believer in whole food nutrition, had started juicing veggies every day, did that for 7 years every day. We called them swamp drinks. But by the time I learned about Juice Plus, my kids were getting older. There were twice as many of them. I was a homeschooling mom with 4 kids. I was in survival mode. And I'd like to tell you that I got Juice Plus really fast, that I was that smart, but I wasn't. So it took me a while to get it. And even I didn't expect to see anything different. I thought we were as healthy as we could be. But what I saw for myself, all of a sudden I felt better. I had more energy. I was enjoying my kids more. My kids were enjoying me more, and I just fell in love with Juice Plus. And then I shared it with my mom. Then I shared it with other moms. Then I started going to events because I wanted to be sure that Juice Plus really was what it said it was, that I wasn't being scammed or something. And of course, learned more at events, fell in love even more. Then I went to a boot camp, fell in love with the company behind Juice Plus, the culture, the mission, came on with my hair on fire. My husband was like, oh no. And then I think I did the best thing I could have done. I made him go to conference with me. And it was really a big deal because we were living paycheck to paycheck. When my oldest son was born, I said, I am not going back to work. And I never did. But that wasn't easy. Paycheck to paycheck, no health insurance, hand-me-down clothes. We were camping, vacation, intense because that's all we could afford. But I didn't care. I wanted to be home with my kids. So to say, let's get on an airplane and go from Orlando to Phoenix and stay in a hotel and go see this business was crazy, really. But we did it anyway. And that changed everything. And we came home from there saying, those were ordinary people like us. And they have extraordinary choices just because they fell in love with Juice Plus. And they're sharing it with others as they do life. Maybe we could do that. And we set this really big, scary goal. We said, what if we could earn an extra $500 a month? Which seemed terrifying back then. But because we'd been to conference, that was easy to do. Today it's easier, but it was easy back then. And then our dream just kept growing. And pretty soon we were saying, what if we could bring Daddy home? And I had my 5th baby that first year of eating Juice Plus. Homeschooling, home churching, home birthing, always at home, very few friends. And I did that. I made national marketing director at the top level in less than 2 years. And today you can do that faster too. But I made it in less than 2 years and retired my husband. And that was amazing. That changed everything. And I'll tell you a little bit more on my story, but I wanted to just I'm going to jump in there and tell you what was a piece that changed everything for me in building the business that I have today. So I had made Q quickly, and everybody in my upline was telling me I was doing a great job, except one person. And if you know Wendy Campbell, you know she's very shy, very reserved. She hardly tells you what she thinks. Not. So I got on the phone with Wendy, which was an amazing privilege. And she said, Leanne, this is how I remembered it. She said, Leanne, you're not doing this right. And I said, tell me. And she didn't tell me how to do it. What she did was she gave me a picture of how many more people I could reach if I would teach them to do what I was doing. And that meant two things. Number one, I had to quit doing it for them. I was doing all the events. And second, the hardest thing of all was I had to make it simple. Because I came into this business knowing a lot about nutrition and kind of a food Nazi. Not all that fun to be around either, I'm sure. But I wanted to tell everybody about Juice Plus and everything I knew about nutrition. And I wanted to help them with all those pieces. But because of that call, I decided that more than wanting to be a health coach for like a handful of people, I wanted to build a business. I wanted to reach more people. I wanted to help way more people get started and trust that there'd be plenty of resources for them, right? Juice Plus has that domino effect. And so I hung up the phone that day and I got my brand new distributor, and somehow I got her to agree to do her first wellness presentation for the rest of our team and to keep it crazy super simple, which is not how she'd seen me do it. And that changed everything. Everybody said, I can do that and I want to. And I'll tell you what that did for my business, but let me also tell you who that is. So that new rep back then is now a 50 Club National Marketing Director, Lisa Rudizzi. Absolutely love her. And what that did for our team, because people saw that they could do it because it was simple, I went from 14 qualifiers to 27 in 3 months. And if you're brand new and you don't know what that means, it's okay, but it is a really good thing. And then I went from 14 to 39 in 8 months. And back then, 39 Club was the top level recognized in our company, so that was a really good thing. And then I went to my first Elton's and never been, had no idea what to expect. And the very first award they gave was Rookie of the Year. And it was me. And I had no idea that I was doing a great job. Nobody was more shocked than I was. I had just fallen in love with Juice Plus and I was just sharing it with everybody I knew. And my business has been unbelievable. It has just been unbelievable. Kept growing. Had 2 babies along the way, both in my 40s. Made 100 Club several years ago. And then about 7-8 years ago, I fell in love with this business at a whole new level. When all of a sudden, I was a single mom with 6 kids, and I didn't see that coming. And I can tell you today that I know that God gave me this business before I ever knew I needed it. And I am so thankful that Wendy said, Leanne, do you want to build a business or do you want to be a health coach? Basically. And today I have an army of people with me, and we're all doing this together. So when my world fell apart and my kids needed me the most, I didn't have to go get a job. I didn't have to leave them. I could step back, not out, but back, and my business kept growing because it's not just about me. So I want to encourage you to keep your business simple. And when I think of what's really simple in this business, in my mind, what our business is really comes down to just like a couple of things, and that's it. Our stories. Share your story, your product story, your business story, heart level. What is it you love about this? Share that. Events, right? We hear it all the time. We get that. The power of events with consistency. Our stories, events with consistency. And if there is a secret sauce kind of thing, I would say it's personal growth. And for me, I love the fact that I'm healthier. I look better in my 50s than I did in my 30s because I feel better and it shows and I have more energy and I'm healthier. I love that. I love that I have a paycheck that lets me take care of my kids, everything they need, lets me be generous to others, lets me do things I never would have imagined doing otherwise. I love that. But I want to tell you, and I want to share just a little bit, that the personal growth in this journey means just as much to me and has been just as life-changing or more so. And I want to tell you a little bit of that story. So Wendy Campbell believed in me before I did. And that changed my life. I am forever grateful. But I'll tell you who loved me first. Because, I wasn't okay with me. I didn't like me. So I didn't feel liked. I didn't feel loved really anywhere except maybe with my kids. But Jackie Beavers, Kurt's mom, somehow she saw me. She reached out to me. She liked me. She loved me. And she became my second mom. And that changed my life in a totally different way. And then she introduced me to Anita Dixon, who I thought looked so perfect that we would never have anything in common. And we've become forever sisters. And then I started meeting women like Christine. And years ago, I got to stay in Christine's home. And I remember that weekend because I wasn't doing well. And I didn't know back then that my marriage was falling apart, but I knew things were a mess. And she just loved me and cared about me and was okay with as messy as I was. And I can remember, way before I ever stayed in her home, I heard Christine say something on a Monday night Campbell team call that totally stayed with me, because as soon as she said it, I was like, I have no idea what she means. What does she mean? And back then I had no idea, but I do today. Christine said, this business is personal to me. And I thought, okay, we got fruits and veggies in a capsule, PVC, paycheck. What's so personal about that? But can I just tell you, this business is personal. It's just crazy personal, and it's beautiful, and it's amazing. And so I have been surrounded by a community of women and men, but mainly women, that I think of it as sister soldiers. We're doing life together. We're inspiring each other. We're in it together. And it has changed my life. And in the going through the divorce, not only did I have the money to take care of my kids and not go get a job, but I also had money for counseling for the kids and for me. And I highly recommend that to lots of people. That totally changed my life. And I had the resources to do it and the energy to do it because of Juice Plus, and the inspiration to do it. But I started learning about self-care. And because I had the energy and the resources, I started taking ballroom dance lessons. And if you've been to the Eltons, I'll tell you why I started. Because I was at one of the Eltons and there were women on my team that liked to dance, and they drugged me out on the dance floor, one particular woman, and she had no idea that not only could I not breathe, but I was like mad to be out there. It was so uncomfortable. I couldn't stand it. And I left there saying, I don't ever want to feel that way again. And the Eltons is going to happen again. So what am I going to do? So I signed up for one free ballroom dance lesson, turned it into 5 years of private lessons. And early in that, fairly early, my instructor asked me a crazy question. He said, Leanne, if you had to pick one word that would describe how you want to feel someday when you dance, what would it be? And I would encourage you to do this in your business. How do you want this business to make you feel down the road? Well, so he asked me that. The first word that came to mind, I knew I wasn't going to tell him. It was too personal, but I couldn't think of another word, and too much time went by, so I finally told him. I said, I'd like to feel beautiful. And I can tell you, just until these last few years, before that, I don't remember ever feeling beautiful. And beautiful is not just an external thing, obviously. It's very, very internal. It's very much how we feel about ourselves. And in fact, I'm rereading a book that a friend gave to me, and some of you love books like I do, and some of you don't, totally fine, but maybe this is encouraging. It's called God Loves Ugly by Krista Black. It reminds me of Rachel Hollis's book, Girl, Go Wash Your Face, same kind of style, only a deeper book. But when I started this business, I was hiding. I wasn't okay with me. I definitely didn't feel beautiful or like my voice mattered. I wasn't okay with me. And through this journey, I have found a gentler, kinder voice for me. I found a safe place to step into my story and to find my story, my heart, the beauty in me, my message. And I've learned to dance. And not just on the ballroom dance floor, but to dance in this community, in this business with others. And so if I were going to suggest 3 things to you, I would say number 1, dream. Dream big if you can. If you can't, dream small. That's how I started. Dream small, dream big, just dream. Number 2 is to keep it simple. This business, keep it simple. In fact, if you don't have kind of that one word for the year yet, you might consider simplify. It's an action verb. It's powerful. It will totally change your life, your business. Simplify. You can have a much bigger business if you keep it simple. And then third, I would say find a safe person and dig into your story. Find that kinder, gentler voice for you. Find that grace, find that acceptance, find that forgiveness. Step into liking yourself, loving yourself. Because I've done that, I'm a better mom. I'm a better friend. I have a much more caring, kind, gentle voice with others. And if you find your story, your mission, your beauty, maybe that will become your dance. Thank you.